Welcome, I'm Homero Galicia. This is Hispanic Biz Success Stories. We talk with successful Hispanic business owners to learn from them their story, their struggle. We trust that you find this program interesting. We have a very special guest with us today, a young man who's built a very successful business rather quickly, actually. Mr. Erik Tijerina from Bolter Electrical Construction. Mr. Tijerina, thank you very much for being with us.
Morning, thank you.
Mr. Tijerina, what is Bolter Electrical?
Bolter Electrical. During college, I was going through engineering classes. So on the electrical engineer, we deal a lot with electricity, amps, volts, current, all that. So I joined two words, volt, the term volt, voltage, and ER, which is my first two letters from my name. So it's Volter.
Interesting.
Yes.
Your first name is Erik?
Erik.
And your second name?
Jacobo.
Jacobo. Erik Jacobo Tijerina. And what does Volter Electrical do? What kind of work do you do?
Our prime, it's commercial electrical construction, design. During the past years, we opening new trades. So at this time, we do electrical, plumbing, and mechanical.
Oh, wow. You cover
Yes.
the range. How big is Volter Electrical?
At this time, I think we have a little bit more than 100 employees.
Wow. That's
Yes.
pretty significant. And when did you start the business?
I registered Volter back in 2012, I think by September, but I was still working with my last employer. 2013, it's when I decided to move on. It was kind of funny because I got married in 2013.
Oh, okay.
So the funniest thing is that my last day, it was my bachelor party.
Oh, really?
So Friday was my last day of work, and then I went to my bachelor party, and I got married on May.
Wow. So you did two big things. You started a business, you got married.
But it was tough. Imagine getting married without a job.
So, yeah, what was that like?
It was stressful, but you got to do it. Like, you got to...
So did you always want to have a business?
Since I was a child, you always think like, I want to do something on my own. I want to grow something. You see business owners doing good in business, learning, teaching. So it was one of my goals, open a business.
So you went to UTEP and you got an engineering degree, electrical
Yeah.
engineering? So
Yeah, I
you're
was-
an electrical engineer.
Yeah, I wasn't an electrical engineer at the school.
But to own your kind of business, you don't have to be an electrical engineer.
No.
So what difference does it make that you're an electrical engineer? What is it that you bring to the business because of that?
You know what? I always was. My goal was to become an architect.
Ah.
I paint, abstract, oil, water, pencil paint. That was back on middle school. I was going to tournaments and all that. High school, keep doing it. My goal was to be an architect. But during high school, I started working. So my first job was a bakery. I didn't have a car, so I asked my dad, "Can you lend me your credit so I can get a car?" Since then, I was supposed to work, so I couldn't go to the closest architecture school, or either San Antonio or Phoenix. What was my next step is, okay, I got to keep working. I have to do something to learn. So I started an EPCC, just basics, drafting design. I started working with my dad. My dad worked with my last employer. He worked there for 30 years. So I started as a laborer.
And who is that with?
I did work with Erik, the Erik Group right now is their name. I worked with them for 10 years. My first year I was just a laborer. I started to like the trade. You know, it's very interesting. You never get tired. You never get bored because different project, different task, different areas. So I was going to college and I was working part-time with them. So I started like, okay, let's keep going. I start taking exams for my electrician license. I got my license, but I was still going to school. So it was kind of rough because as you grow on the college, is tougher classes, more time involved studying. So the last year it was work, school, library, go back, wake up. So it was kind of a tough, but at the end, you gotta. Well, my goal was to grow, so I have to do my own business.
So you were already working in the electrical field with Gary Porras, Erik Electric, while you were going to school.
Yes.
How long did it take you to finish school?
7 years.
7 years. Yeah, because you're working in
Yeah.
But you got your electrical degree, but you were already a licensed electrician when you finished.
Well, the year when I was a senior in college, I got my master electrician's license. So,
Okay. Wow.
yes,
Wow. And your father worked for Gary Porras, you said, for 30 years.
30 years.
Wow. so that's in your blood.
It is. As a matter of fact, my brother does electrical work too.
Really?
He worked with us too.
He works with you.
Yes.
And what's his name?
Tijerina.
Okay. And how many brothers and sisters do you have?
I have a brother and a sister.
Okay.
4 years apart, each one of them.
And your father, he was electrical. Where is your father from?
He's originally from Ojinaga, Chihuahua. My grandfather passed away when he was 13.
Okay.
So the next step for my grandmother is send my dad to Juarez with his uncles.
Oh, wow.
So he went to Universidad Tecnológica de Juárez, and then he just decided to work to move to El Paso. Not to move, I think, work, but we still live in Juarez.
Okay. And your mother, where's your mother from?
She's from Juarez,
Okay.
Chihuahua.
And you grew up in Juarez?
Yeah, I grew up up to my 14. When I was 14, we
Wow.
moved to El Paso.
And then you went into school. What school did you go to right away?
We moved to the east side, which is a brand new area. So they just finished the new school. It was Mauer Middle School and Elfida Chavez. So I was on Mauer Middle School.
Okay. Were you Spanish dominant at that time?
Oh yeah, it was just Spanish. It was very tough for me.
Really?
Yeah, and then as soon as you move to here where's my Spanish language friends, you know?
Wow.
Yeah.
But you learned English pretty quick.
High school.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, high school. Well, the thing is, middle school, I was there for the 7th grade.
Yeah.
That's it. And then moved to Mountwood High School after.
Good. And so, what year did you finish Mountwood High?
When?
What year?
2002.
And then right away you went to
Community college.
Wow, that's great. So you worked for as an master electrician, right?
Mhm.
For Garrick Electric
Yes.
for how long?
10 years.
And then what got into you to want to start your own business?
You know what? I learned a lot with them. I know my dad introduced me to the electrical trade, but what he helped us out is that as soon as I joined in, it was, well, you're the son of Jacobo, so Chiple. The first thing they did is move it to another foreman, and I learned a lot about it was a working class. The trade was just work and teach you and do it this way, do it that way. You learn this way, you learn that way. So that's how I decided to.
So when you started, I mean, you knew the field pretty well.
Yes.
Yeah, you were already prepared.
Kind of. Yeah, because I remember when I was 13, 14, my dad used to do side jobs. So it's like on the weekends or after school, come in, help me out. So I learned.
What did you learn from your father?
Responsibility,
Really?
honesty. Yeah.
Your father's very, very responsible. Huh?
Oh yeah, yeah.
And your mom?
Same thing.
Yeah. Does your father work with you?
He does. He's working with us right now.
So you listen to your father?
Yeah, I respect him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you built a business pretty quick. Let me start a little different note here. We've not done this program for a while because COVID came and hit, and we haven't done a program for quite a while. So COVID affected us dramatically. How did it affect your business?
It was very tough. I think the good thing, SBA was there for construction companies to help them out. A lot of employees, staying at home. They couldn't work, or the COVID test, or they get sick, and the construction kept going. So contractors have a due date to turn in their projects, right?
Right.
So we ran out of employees. So I remember one time we just hiring whoever was on the list to help us work. We were working overtime, a lot of overtime to meet the due dates.
Wow.
Yeah, it was tough.
Wow. And you had employees get COVID?
Let's say like 20%.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty hard.
Yeah, it was tough.
But you survived.
Yes.
Did you take losses during that period?
No.
You actually grew.
Yes.
Yeah. The other thing is that you're also a SBA 8A certified contractor now, right?
Yes.
So you're working on government contracts.
Yes, sir.
When you work on government contracts, are they much bigger?
To be honest, I remember one time, I don't know if you know Ana Espinosa,
Yes.
Access Communication.
Yes.
I got into the 8A. One of my friends, he's a nice guy. He's an old guy. The first thing he told me, you know what, you gotta join the 8A. It's direct work or competitive work with the government, but it's very well. You can grow there. So I remember one time that Espinosa, she showed up in my business, and she was like, "You're very lucky." Why? Like, I didn't know that the majority of contractors getting certified, they start getting projects after the 4th year. So the first year we got 3 contracts.
Wow.
It was IT, it was the telecommunications work, because that's our prime, electrical, low voltage. The next 2nd year we got 4. The 3rd year we slowed down, but lately now we expanded. On the 8A right now we do, civil work, infrastructure. We do a lot of roads, maintenance, sidewalks, concrete, and we're getting very good on that. These past 3 years, we've been doing, I think most is concrete and asphalt work on Fort Bliss.
So when you get in the 8A program, you get a different range of
Yes,
work.
yes.
And you're able to perform because you're in construction.
Yes.
Is that difficult?
It is. At the beginning it is, but as a business owner, I think you gotta keep learning every day. I know it's a different trade, but just get to know or take courses or go to classes where they teach you to get thought about how to estimate, how to manage that type, what type of equipment do you need, the length of doing the process of the construction. So you never stop learning.
So let me get back to your degree, being an electrical engineer. What difference does it make in your business that you have that engineering degree?
You know what? When I got to the electrical engineering school, I thought it was more into my trade. But UTEP engineering, it's electronics programming. As a matter of fact, our senior project was awarded with the first place. We did. We designed a app, an Android. It was an Android application that was able to alarm, disalarm, turn the AC on, off, pop the doors. If someone stole it, you get notified and you stop the car. Bluetooth, not harness. So.
Wow. So a lot of programming.
It is. UTEP is programming. I have a pretty good
So
engineering
how
school.
does that help you in your business?
You know what? I think it is the willingness to learn. Whatever. Like, it's the same kind. Like for a test, you study. For a project, you have to study the project to know how much profit or how many people do you need, what tools you need. So I compare it. You study, you got to learn formulas. On construction, you need to know the formula. Employees, safety, equipment.
So you do see things in formula format then,
Yeah, yes,
and so you analyze,
yes,
and so that's what college is for you. Now you wanted to be an architect.
yeah.
Where did that change?
I really don't know. I really don't. I like to design, you know. My wife, she's a fashion designer. So she and I, if we gotta do something to the house, we just got together and brainstorm and design it. Same thing with offices, same thing with all kind of stuff. So.
Wow. So how many years have you been married now?
8 years.
And you have children?
2.
What
A
ages?
daughter and son.
Oh, that's
Girl and
great.
boy, yeah.
That's great. So how many hours a day do you put into your work?
At this time, you know what? I woke up at 4 a.m. And then I show up at the office like around 5. From 5 to 7, it's my do everything you can do. It's no phones, no one asking you, calling you. I think those 2 hours are the most effective. And after that, it just put in the office.
Constant.
Yes.
So you run the business.
Well, yeah, but we've been developing. Now I've been slowing down.
Okay. And what time do you go home?
I get out of the office at 4:30.
Okay.
That's it.
You make sure.
I'm
that-
out.
So you have a life.
Yes.
How long did it take you to learn that?
After we opened the business, 5 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when you started your business, did you know business?
No. I think you always see business on TV. They just show you the happiest and I think profitable part of a business, but there's a lot of problems involved.
So how did you know how to start?
You know what? Talking to the right people, getting to know experienced people. You know, people that run their business or.
So what is the quality that you have that allowed you to listen to people?
Well, they can, let's say in a 10-minute conversation, I will be just getting whatever I need to learn. You know, something that just pop, like, okay, that's a good idea. That's how he run his business, or this is how he solved the problems. So
So when you started after working 10 years, and then you started but you always had the interest in starting a business early. So why did it take you 10 years to start a business? Why did?
Because I wanted to finish school first.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's one of the goals that I have.
So how soon after you finished college did you start the business?
I graduated 2010, 2 years and a half.
Not too bad. Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
But you got in with you were prepared.
Let's say on the field, I was prepared. On the estimating, I was 70% because that wasn't my actual trade. But so my goal was, if you want to be a successful business, just learn, research, get help.
So how did you start? Did you have to borrow money, or did you have savings, or?
No, it was, it was kind of funny. When I left the company, it was a weekend for my bachelor's. Came back on Monday, and Tuesday I was negotiating. It was a retrofit for a warehouse, a lighting retrofit. So that was my first project.
So right away.
Right away.
Right away, you had a.
Yeah, the first one. It was a gift for me. Like, oh wow. And after that, it was just pushing. I remember one time, one of my best foremans, he graduated with me on high school, and every time we discuss that, it's kind of funny because he was working with another contractor, and I asked him, help me out. It was just him and myself I was doing the paperwork, estimating, getting the material, and he was in the field, and then I help him out on the field. And he's like, do you think you will have more work for me? Like, if you don't have work, I won't have any money. Like, I need to work to give you a job. So that was my concern all the time. Like, I need to keep these people working, so they stay with me on the company.
Wow. So you had to get out and get some work.
Yeah.
And so what was the first challenge you had to face when you started a business and you had your first contract?
Well, the first contract went very well. The issue that I found after that is, as you try to grow, you don't research your clients or contractors. So we're just looking for projects to start like growing, but a lot of contractors, general contractors, they don't pay you, or they hide, or they want to steal part of the contract, the money from you. So those were my first, the struggles, the first ones that I got. I think I learned the hard way.
So how does that happen?
Well, I started working with this company, and he gave me the first contract. We finished it. He kept money from my first, and he gave me a second one. So he was like keeping money from projects. So at the end, it was I started to do a legal kind of a battle there, and we won. So that we learned the hard way.
So they were keeping some of the money from you, and
yeah, that's what they
thinking
wanted
that you're inexperienced. But you use legal services.
Yes.
Wow. And that was early.
Yeah.
So when you started, did you start as a corporation? Did you form it as a corporation?
Corporation, yes, as Corp.
Okay. And how did you know how to do that?
I got an advice from one of my friends.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, they want me to do LLC, but I think at the end, I don't want it to do a transition because I wanted to keep growing. So that's why I kept it as.
And so where did you get your first, advice for starting the business and putting it together and all of that? From friends, or did you go to some agency, or?
No, well, I knew the infrastructure of a business, but at the beginning, I only have $5,000 in a truck. That was how I started it. $5,000 on my bank and a truck. But something that I've been learning a lot because I do a lot of seminars and all that, is you gotta like look at the next step. So it was myself, and then I hired my friend of college. He was estimating, and then so I have to keep growing my office, so I can just focus on getting the projects.
So all of a sudden now you become a marketer.
Yes.
Wow. And how was that?
It was tough because you're trying to go to the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce to get to know people, the Paso Chamber of Commerce, any event that you see, well, you try to go there to know people on your trade or someone that can help you out. Like, not just construction, you got to be legal, finance, and health.
So you started networking.
Yes.
So as you grow the business, one of the interesting things is how you started and who helped you. And I guess you just started with a little money, and from your contract you started building some reserves, some cash, so that you could start hiring people.
Yes.
And then you managed it. Did you manage the money yourself?
Yes. It was tough. It's very tempting.
What is tempting?
Well, you know what? You got money in the bank, and let's buy this, let's buy that. But you gotta hold your horses there.
Where'd you learn that?
I think my parents.
Sure.
They save a lot of. They know how to do that.
So instead of buying toys, you got tools.
Yes. Equipment.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Wow. Well, I appreciate your sharing your story, and we're going to continue with your story in our next segment. And we thank the viewers for watching. We trust you're enjoying the show, and stay tuned. And we'll catch up with you next. Thank you very much.